Welcome. That's my take podcast. So today we are going to be doing mistakes people make while rebuilding or thinking they're rebuilding and ways that you should attack your rebuild. So I think if you want to get right into it, number one, what would you say the first big mistake is that people make?
Well,
And
first off, you got to swallow your pride. You have to accept your team is not ready to compete, and you got to realize that maybe you punt a year, get some draft capital, put yourself back in the mix the next year. You got to swallow your pride, though.
I think going off of what you said, like I agree. I think you need to realize your team isn't in a boat to win. And it's not the fact that sucking a year, yeah, it's not fun, but the idea that you're setting yourself up for the greater good for maybe 3 or 4 years after that 1 year is definitely rewarding.
Yeah.
But so number two, I think going off of that is you got to value future picks a lot more. I think people disvalue future picks a lot. Whether, like you said, it doesn't even have to be the next year. It could be years prior or years in the future. Like maybe right now, 2025 first round picks, if I go to offer for it, someone might be like, oh, yeah, screw it. Like, who cares? It's 2025. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if you have 2025 first round picks, when that 2024 offseason pulls up, everyone's going to want the 2025 picks if there's a couple few good prospects. And
Yeah.
who knows, maybe 3 years out, who's going to be a good team, who's going to be a bad team. Injuries happen, players get older. We don't know how people are going to manage. So,
Dude, even not even 3 years sometimes. Sometimes it's like 1 year.
mhm.
Like I always say, a fantasy football team has the same turnaround rate as a fucking McDonald's. Like couple months down the road and your whole situation's different.
Yeah. I think another thing too is almost, I'm trying to think, I just had it in my head and now I can't. Oh, another thing, revolving picks, I think that people do like mistakenly a lot. This would be the third thing is getting rid of your own picks. If you're a rebuilding team, why do you not have your picks?
Mm-hmm.
It just, especially your first round pick, like maybe second and third, yes, sure, who cares? At least second, you should maybe have to, but your first round pick, why, unless you get an amazing offer, why do you not have your first round pick?
For real. No, and honestly, to kind of build off that, it's when people decide to rebuild, they tend to just think you got to sell anything and everyone on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily the case. You should generally, I'd say, have 1 to 2 players. You say, all right, this is who I'm building my roster around, and you go from there. I mean, it's not too complicated, but it's about knowing what you got, knowing what you should keep.
I completely agree. I think it's not the fact that, like, I mean, we can even your team, for example, in our league, you have started to rebuild, but you have guys like Travis Etienne, who's a building block for your team. You don't want to just get rid of everyone because then when you finally have a chance, if you hit on some picks, you still don't have that team that's that good to win. And you're just stuck in the middle ground forever. So it's like, at what
Yeah.
point are you just gonna keep some guys? Like, we'll make another video on players you should target to keep in a rebuild, but I think you should have a nice balance of picks and players when rebuilding. I don't think you should just give players up for picks just to have 6 picks because you're probably not going to hit on 6 picks. You're going to hit on maybe 4, but if you're lucky, you hit on 4. But even if you hit on 4, there's what, 9 fantasy starting spots, 7 if you don't count kicker and defense. What is 4 players going to do if you don't have the rest of the 3?
Yeah. That kind of brings us into like how you should attack a rebuild. So I mean, I got my team up on my screen in our 14 team league.
Mhm. I mean, I can try and share it here too.
Yeah. Pull it up. But generally while you do that, I see a lot of people either go with like a young player based rebuild where they just say, all right, well, if I have picks, I'm just going to invest them in young players and go from there so I can at least
Mhm.
know what I have year to year. But then sometimes I see people say, screw it, I'm going to go get 5 2023 first round picks, which in my opinion, I wouldn't do. I think 3 is a very good number to hold in one draft class because there's just not as much pressure for you to hit on 3 picks as you would with 5.
I mean,
Take that
unless you're
2020
getting
class.
great value,
Yeah,
here
like
we
that
go.
2020 class.
You
All
should
right.
be able to see
Yeah.
my screen now.
Yep.
So
So
this is Gavin's team. I wish I could zoom in. I don't know. I mean, let's see. Can I zoom in on Mac?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's not letting me. But either way, so we'll first of all skip the team for now. As you can see, we'll go down. Gavin has 3 first round. Oh, well, okay. You did have 3. I think you traded 1, but you have 2
I
first
had
round picks.
I had two.
One of them is himself, and another one is Steve, which probably won't be amazing, but it's not bad. And
Right.
then you go to his team and look at these 4 building blocks just right in the front right here.
Yep.
I mean, that already you get those 4 players. Let's say these 2 running backs hit. Fields is good. Like he's got a solid kicker that's going to be secure for the next however long. He's got a couple other receivers that are solid. Allen Robinson maybe can sell high like throughout the year.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And then he still has 2. You still have 2 first round picks.
Yeah. So I'm kind of just gonna I'll break down some key things I did with my team. So
Here,
my
I can
running backs
pull up
last
some.
year, you might be able to. Yeah.
Here it is right here. I mean, which one do you want to? I don't know where you want to start first.
Go all the way down.
Well,
Literally.
the trades I had to click on. Which trade do you want to?
Yeah, you got to go up past all. That's when
We
it starts.
transferred over from ESPN to
You have to go
Sleeper,
up.
by the way. So this is why all of these guys are getting added. But let's see.
Trade between.
I think it'd start here, maybe. No, it'd be right here. This is the ETN trade.
Yep. So yeah, I traded Joe Mixon in the second, and I got it's not pictured here, but I got pick 110 in this year's draft. That ended up being Jahan Dotson. So realistically, Joe Mixon played his first injury-free season of his career. And do I think it may happen again? Yes, but he's going to be 26, 27. That's an off season where you say that age is a point where you decide whether to keep or get rid of the guy. So I won the championship. So I'm like, all right, you know what? We're done. We're going to rebuild and make sure we don't die or my whole team doesn't die. So getting Travis Etienne, who I fully expect to come back to his 100% explosive pass catcher out of the backfield type of guy. And yeah, not much to say. I like Etienne. Excited to see what he does from this point on.
Yeah. So like he said, the 2022 picks weren't pictured because we transferred apps. But they were involved in trades. Everything else is now on the app. I don't think this wasn't really, yeah, this was for like a second or third, I think, in this year's draft or something like that. I mean,
so this is an interesting one.
This is terrible for Todd. I can't believe this went through.
I knew I wanted a first in general. I got the first, and I mean, Chenault for a bench piece. He had a down year last year, but hey, I'll take the chance. If I'm a rebuilding team, I'll take the chance on a young receiver for a flyer.
Did you give up any picks this year? I forget. I want to. No.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's bad. A 23 first for Michael Thomas, which this was your own pick to get it back.
Yep.
I don't remember where it went and how it got to him, but that was. Oh, so you traded your pick. Wait, I don't know. I forget how he got it.
No, I think earlier in the year I traded my pick to Steve, and Steve traded it to Todd.
Okay, so then we had your trade here. Gain another first round pick and probably a safer and better receiver, in my opinion. So honestly, there had to have been a pick this year, right?
We'll get into this in another video, but DK Metcalf right now, the consensus is the value is at an all-time low, but believe it or not, I'm fine with him as Drew Lock or Geno Smith as a
Mhm.
quarterback because you go look at the weeks where Russ was hurt. He was a top 6, top 8 fantasy receiver still.
Yeah.
Situations like that, the talent's still there. So the talent survives, and I
And
still expect him to get the great
we've
amount of touches.
we've seen it plenty of times before in the past. I mean, D-Hop was still a beast with nobodies. I mean,
Yeah. I
dude,
mean,
like,
yeah, Schaub, freaking Brock Osweiler.
yeah. I mean, there's other receivers too. Not many I can name right off of the top of my head right now because this is kind of like a last second. I'm trying to. I don't know. There might have been more. Oh wait, here's your.
The
Here's the
Najee one.
biggest trade in your rebuild. We got to show this one.
Yeah. This one was a hard one for me because I'm a Steelers fan. Ben, you guys don't know. So trading Najee Harris after the season he had was hard, but like we mentioned before, I kind of swallowed my pride a little bit and I said, you know what? Najee Harris peaked in volume. Um, why don't I sell him as high as I can before his production starts to go down?
Mm-hmm.
So Brees Hall in the first was the main return for me. And I like Brees Hall because I think he could end up being this year's Javonte Williams in terms of what he does with his workload and his age. He's 21 years old. So not so much wear and tear by the time he's halfway through a rookie contract, which supports the longevity.
Yeah.
And then getting Claypool back, again, we'll get into that in another video. But if you're a rebuilding team, go after Chase Claypool.
Okay. I think
And
it's definitely interesting. And then I think that was it.
yeah.
But
Oh,
as you
what
can
did I
see,
trade?
he's got
I trade.
good
Oh, and
pieces.
I don't think it was pictured there, but I traded Devontae Adams for a 23 first and Allen Robinson.
I can find it. It was proposed trade.
Yeah, let's make a trade right now.
That's interesting. Our team names are oh no, they're not. Okay, well, gotta
Yeah,
blur some stuff out then.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, I traded Adams for Robinson first. Oh boy, yeah.
But interesting.
So yeah, that's another thing. If you have like a guy like Devontae Adams and you're looking to get off him, the way I went at it is, yep, I get the pick, but I'll take on a veteran receiver. And this case, it was Allen Robinson. I think he's going to have a good year. So my hope is I can sell him for a good pick mid-season to a contender.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. But yeah, so overall, we'll just wrap up the video. What do you think is the biggest mistake with rebuilding from what we've gone over, what you've seen? What do you think is the biggest mistake
Biggest mistake?
that people do, like that when they don't, or like when they do rebuild? Like
when they do, they get so many picks, they don't know what to do with them.
Todd. Sorry, Todd, if you're watching, but
Yeah, Todd. But he had a lot of picks.
he had 7.
He said, crap, well, I have a lot of picks. I can go get players. You can do that with about half your picks, but all of them.
Yeah, no, and the fact that
because not all of the guys you might trade for hits. So you got to have something to fall back on when you build.
Yeah, for sure. And some of the Michael Thomas for a first, I mean, that's terrible. Come on, Todd. Like, take the chance. And I think another thing too that people don't realize, picks have the most value in the offseason, and players have the least amount of value in the offseason. Like, when that pick gets the number 105, it has like way more value than when someone was like, okay, well, it may be like the 3rd to 5th pick before the league or before the year. Because a lot of people, I mean, that might be from our league just not valuing the picks as high as other leagues and like as people should. But I think personally, just the idea that people get happy to just draft a player and take a chance on a guy long term, people want to go get those rookies and they want to get a chance at a rookie, if that makes sense.
And even then, like I notice if you're going into, let's say, the 2023 draft, like 5 first-round picks, when everybody's trying to buy something, that's the best time to sell it. So in
Mhm.
that case, you might want to sell a couple picks and get players.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's another mistake. I think that's the biggest one. They don't know when to buy or sell.
Okay. No, that definitely. I mean, we've seen that firsthand a lot with people. But yeah, I think you got to know that the value, like certain guys, it's tough to say. Like even let's say you have a crap show of a roster, but you have Jonathan Taylor. What do you do with that? It's like, I don't know. If you have picks to fall back on, then yeah, maybe keep Taylor because you can compete with him eventually. But with his value at an all-time high, I think you wait until the season gets a little closer and maybe you wait for that peak value when he has a 30, 40 point game again. And then if you don't think you have a chance to win in the next few years, then you trade him to give yourself a chance to maybe win in the next few years.
Yeah, you pretty much you got to play the long game sometimes
Hmm.
because everybody's trying to win now,
I mean,
especially startup.
1 year of winning pays for multiple years of your leagues. I don't know. I mean, we just play for fun and play for, I mean, small amounts of money. I know there's definitely people out there that probably play for tremendous amount of money, but overall fantasy is something where luck is factored in. And at the end of the day, if you're not having fun playing fantasy, I don't see the purpose of playing.
Yeah,
I think the whole reason is to play with your friends, have fun. Obviously, you want to strategically like plan stuff, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to luck and matchups, and you can't control matchups either. So
nope.
it's whatever. I
Yeah,
mean, you can put together the best roster, but it's not always going to win. But
yeah. You don't win your fantasy league during the draft, guys.
mhm,
That's pretty much it.
it's another video to be said though. But anyways, I think that should be good unless you have any more words.
No, I'm all good.
Okay, so that's going to be the end of the video. So thank you for listening and watching, and peace.